Hi everyone, my name is Ratish and I'm the founder of the Kite Flyers. I welcome you all to the second episode of my podcast, Marketing Masala Market. Today I have a very special guest who's also a very dear friend, somebody who I have shared the workstation with. He's someone who started his career in advertising, worked in the corporate world for a very long time, and then successfully broke the shackles of corporate slavery and moved into something that he was passionate about, which, by the way, had no connection with what he was doing in corporate world. Today, he's a celebrated photographer, somebody who's also seen on television, and someone I very, very closely follow on Instagram. He's a very dear friend, the founder of Together Studios. Please welcome Arjun Kartha. So, Arjun, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ratish.
Buddy. So nice to see you. I think after many, many years, अभी वैसे हाल फिलहाल हम मिले थे, but I think long time ago.
A whole lifetime ago.
No, wonderful. So just to kind of bring back the old memories, ad agency to begin with in your career, and followed by a longer stint with IT, one of which we were colleagues
together.
Yes, and then one fine day, sudden shift or choice to move into your passion, which is the photography. And today you kind of stand as a very celebrated wedding photographer and a filmmaker. So just walk me through the entire journey. कैसे हुआ और कहाँ पहुँचे और अब कहाँ हो?
See, wedding photography happened completely by accident. Okay, now I started, like you said, in advertising. Now, while in advertising, I, like most ad people do, we went to shoots. Now, the backstory here is that I used to be a hobbyist photographer. Now, bear in mind, this is 2003, 2004. So, in those days, photography really as a career wasn't something that people would advertise. It wasn't something that you could go to a career counselor and say, hey, you know what, I want to become a photographer.
Or folks would say, my son is a photographer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Right. So now it just so happened because I wound up in advertising, I went on certain shoots and I said, hey, you know what? I could do that. Okay. So for me, the learning was completely on the ground. It was completely by chance. And then I became that guy who went to clients and said, you know what? जब आपको सस्ते में काम कराना ना मेरे पास आओ. And that's literally how commercial photography started. Now, fast forward a couple of years. Now, this is where wedding photography came as a completely accidental career. One of my clients, this was a big real estate guy. His daughter was getting married. Okay. And this is 2008. Now, in 2008, documentary photography or candid photography, as it's now called, didn't exist, right? I mean, there was just typical studio-driven photographers. There was your very, very typical, 30 saal se aap aise karo, those studios happening. So this guy said, you know what, you've been doing our ads. Why don't you come and take a couple of pictures? So I said, yaar, main to advertising photographer. I mean, I'm too cool for this, right? I mean, look, wedding photography, really? But then I said, okay, why not? Bhai, acha client hai, let's go. Okay, so I did. And honestly, it was that pivotal moment that changed my life. I loved it. It was so much fun. I mean, there was so much color, there was so much emotion. There was so much going on. It really appealed to me as a storyteller. So I said, you know what, this was fun. I said, okay, we could do it again. And so I started looking around. I told people that, you know what, if you're getting married, call me, don't pay me. I'll take some pictures. And that is how the ball started rolling.
So you did free of cost initially?
In the beginning, absolutely.
Oh,
okay, absolutely. Because I had a fixed income. I was on a salary. I mean, for me, it was just fun. It was just, and I never, at that point, obviously, I never thought I would be where I am today. It was just something I was doing just for fun. Okay, nothing else.
Right.
And there was literally maybe 5 or 10 people in the entire country who were doing weddings at that time.
Yeah.
And when I say doing weddings, I mean doing weddings in a slightly different way, which wasn't the cookie cutter boilerplate template that was being followed. And yeah, that's where it started. And then I think a year later or 2 years later, I had a portfolio. And then suddenly, the entire industry exploded.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is also, I think, coincidentally when social media started making an impact in India. So Orkut gave way to Facebook. And because of social media, there was a lot of influences from the West that started coming here. And people started looking at pictures of how weddings were shot in the West, pre-weddings were shot in the West. And people wanted that style of photography in India because we were a growing economy.
Right.
People had money.
Right.
Tastes were changing. Cultures were changing.
Absolutely.
And suddenly there was a huge demand for good quality wedding photography. And here I was already with 2 or 3 years of portfolio under my belt. I had almost, I think, 20 weddings done by then. So, quite by luck, I was in the right place at the right time with a strong portfolio, and it just started from there. So honestly, for me, wedding photography was pure chance. It just happened, and I think I have God to thank for that.
No, great, great. I think it's been fabulous since then. I remember you used to, we used to hang out and used to get calls just like that. So, I mean, great. I think it's fabulous. So, just extending the conversation a little further, from that time when it was exploding, the wedding scene and everything, to today, and then of course COVID also happened in between. है ना? So, Aj, what has changed? How's the wedding scene overall changed? What have you seen over the past decade or so, I guess now?
So, see, that's a large question. I'll break it down into two parts. I'll talk
Sure.
about the wedding industry in general and wedding photography specifically. Now, the wedding industry today, I don't remember the actual numbers, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a $30 trillion industry.
Just India.
Just India.
Wow.
Now, to put that in perspective, the value of the wedding industry in India is equal to the value of the industry in North America, plus the value of the industry in Europe, multiplied by 5. Okay,
Wow.
that is the value, the total net value of the wedding industry. I mean, as per a couple of studies that were done.
My God.
Now, obviously, this being such a high value, big ticket industry, every single service provider in weddings today is obviously gunning for more business.
Right.
So wedding photography now cut forward to 15 years later is an extremely saturated marketplace. Okay. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, is now a wedding photographer. In fact, it's ironic. Okay. Now, 10 years ago, let's say other practices practices, I don't know if that's a word, but people who practiced other forms of photography like fashion and editorial and whatnot, those are people who would look down upon weddings. Wedding photography was considered to be a very low value art form. Okay, now from an art form point of view, it was at the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, with the top, let's say, being journalism and advertising photography and things like that. So people look down upon it. Today, the tables have turned. Okay, established filmmakers, established advertising photographers, people who've literally been doing other things for the last 20 years are now coming into weddings. Yes. Okay.
Wow.
So it's just that now the tables have completely turned, and the wedding industry is seen as a ticket into creating high value art. Okay, which was not the case earlier. So I would imagine now, even though it's a very saturated industry, I think it has graduated into an art form that is understood. It's respected. It's in fact it goes up on display.
Expensive.
It's expensive. It goes up on display. I mean, it is considered an art form. So purely from a wedding photography service, it has now become a wedding photography art form. So I think that is something I'm quite happy about.
Nice. So Arjun, थोड़ा deeper जाते हैं शादियों के उसमें. Big weddings, lot of money, as you said, है ना? Everybody getting into it. So when you are in the middle of it, right? So I'm always very curious to know. हमने कई जगहों पे अपनी शादियों में देखा है कि रिश्तेदार होते हैं, वो आते हैं and मेरी इधर से फोटो लो, मेरी उधर से लो, ये मामा जी को लिया कि नहीं, बुआ जी को लिया कि नहीं, right? I mean, this is a typical Indian big fat wedding, as they call it. So with you coming with a lot of jing bang, right? Wedding photographer आ रहा है और 4 उसके लोग हैं और lights हैं और वो सब है. So what's the experience like for you? I mean, do you see people who are very prim and proper and whatever you tell them they will do it, or is it more like कि नहीं बुआ जी बोल रही हैं कि मेरी ऐसी फोटो लो तो लेनी पड़ती है? How does it go?
Oh, okay. This is a very loaded question. Okay. Now, at a wedding, there are different stakeholders. Okay. There's the couple, there's the parents, there are the guests. There are different stakeholders. Now, before I get into that, I should tell you that as a wedding photographer, we see everything, we hear everything, we know everything. Okay. I could reveal stories of big families, famous people, and what actually happened at the wedding versus what people see on social media, and honestly it will make you go crazy. Okay. But obviously now the thing is, you've heard of doctor-patient confidentiality. So this is wedding photographer and client confidentiality. So we actually see a lot. Okay. Now, having seen that, because the kind of space that we are in, I am usually this far away from the action. Okay. So and people get used to me. They're used to seen me around. So what happens is that people now lose their inhibitions and talk in front of me because I'm already a part of the family now. They already know I'm already there, right? So many things are said. Okay, so many things that come on camera. They're recorded on camera, which later on I go back to the studio. I'm like, yaar, ye to nahi dal sakte. Shaadi toot jayegi. But you're right. See, there are different stakeholders, and making Buaji happy, making mummy. So, okay, let me rewind that for a second. One of the most important things I've realized for me, okay, for my assignment to get passed, or for general for the photography to happen well, is to make sure the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom, they should be captured properly. Okay, their photos should come out nicely. उन्होंने अगर pass कर दिया, सब pass. But you're right. See, people expect. People dress up to a wedding. They they wear clothes that they wouldn't usually wear outside. I mean, they've done expensive makeup. You're wearing expensive jewelry. It's natural that you want nice pictures. Now, कुछ भी करो, तुम अपना phone निकाल के ये करो. That picture is not equal to a picture taken by a professional.
Yeah.
So now the expectation is that when people come to a wedding, people want nice pictures and they want it now, right? Because they want to post it on Instagram, they want to put it on social media, they want to show what they've been doing. So people do expect good pictures. So the job isn't necessarily just creating the wedding story for the couple. It is also getting good pictures for the inner circle, the core family, or anyone who walks up to me. I mean, honestly, even if I don't know you, if someone walks up to me and say, "Hey, Arjun, can you take my picture?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
There are many, probably senior wedding photographers who would say, भाई मैडम मैं तो यहाँ भी मैं तो candid photographer हूँ जी मैं तो नहीं करता. I mean, but it's stupid. I mean, honestly, even today, even if I have 18, 19 years of experience doing this, I mean, I'm very happy taking people's pictures. In fact, people give me their phone a lot. They say, जी अब phone से ले लो. And now that then the pressure is on कि यार that phone photo should also look nice. It should look better than what they've taken. So I'm like, अच्छा चलो यहाँ खड़े हो जाओ, ये खड़े हो जाओ, ये light यहाँ से लगाएंगे. So people do ask for a lot of pictures, and honestly, I have no problem with it. It's part of the job.
Trick question, rather very important question. So, groom's mother and bride's mother ke baad, who's the most important relative?
Dads. Okay, dads.
Sorry, parents ke baad. Sorry. Take the parents out. Uske baad.
Best friends. Okay, best friends. Okay, now best friends is something that a lot of people overlook. But let's say, I mean, we all have family, we all have inner circles, and we've all got our tribe, right?
Yeah.
So after the parents, honestly, the inner tribe, the bride tribe, the groom tribe, those are the important people, because these are the people who actually know the couple story. They know what is going on.
Yeah.
They've been part of the couple's journey for the last whatever number of years.
Right.
So those people actually sometimes get overlooked because they're always somewhere in the background, वो शराब पी रहे हैं, कहीं बार के पीछे लगे हुए हैं. But finding those people, including them in the wedding story, is important.
Great. So अभी जैसे तू बता रहा था, you click the picture and then they also tell you कि यार मेरे phone से भी, right? So everywhere phones are getting very high tech. In fact, iPhone promotes itself as a phone through which you can make movies and click nice pictures, etc. I know the clientele that you deal with is of a different league and they understand the value of this, but when you quote a cost to them for a certain thing, so have you ever heard something like कि अरे फोन से ही हो जाता है, पहले तो इतना होता था, why are you charging us so much, etc. I mean, how do you have those conversations with respect to costing?
Yes, a lot.
Huh? Really? And then how do you
so I'm gonna go really cheesy here. Okay, now there's many Instagram quotes that you'll find, okay, where this famous painter was asked कि भाई साहब आपकी paintings बहुत अच्छे हैं, आपका brush तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. Okay, so if you get that brush, okay, does that mean you can make a painting? No. Now, I understand this is a very, very cheesy boilerplate answer, but it's true. Okay, this is literally what it's at. Having said that, okay, I have to admit today, in 2024, the phone is very good. It is actually very good. Chances are, under normal lighting conditions, okay, a photo from an iPhone 14, 15, 16 Pro, Max, Ultra, whatever it is, will be better than a photo taken from a professional DSLR. Why? Because the camera uses a lot of AI to be able to make that picture pop. There is a lot of back-end processing done on the phone, which makes sure that picture looks hyper realistic.
Right.
Okay. So chances are that photo is better. Okay. So that is reality. That is the truth. Okay. So which means a phone photo is better, but does that mean the person holding the phone is better? No. Right. Yeah. So that is where the art comes in, because at the end of the day, a trained photographer knows lights, they know angles, they know backgrounds, they know composition,
right,
which a typical person won't. So which comes back to the same thing. Agar मैं अच्छा brush डालूं किसी के हाथ में, it doesn't make them a painter. It's the same thing. Right. So the phones are very good. Honestly, if you give me a phone, I'll be happy to shoot a wedding. I'll very happily shoot a wedding. The difference comes in when you try and enlarge. Okay, now a high-tech camera with a great lens has a much larger sensor than a phone does. So when you try and enlarge a print, when you try and print it, when you try and bump it up, when you try and print it in an album, that is where the differences come. But when you view it on that little mobile screen, chances are the phone is better.
अच्छा, so there is a little bit of this thing that you hear कभी कभार.
Absolutely.
यार ये तो मैंने तो आपसे अच्छी खींच दी.
It does happen. In fact, it does happen. So sometimes when, so this does happen. So this happened to me recently. We were shooting a wedding in Goa. And now Goa being the beach being facing the west, the sun sets in the back. Now the couple was getting married and a guest took a video, using their phone. Now this is HDR video, remember. Now an iPhone shoots HDR video. Now what does HDR video mean? It means that the lows, the highs, everything is poppy and it looks really nice. So they took the photo and they showed me on the phone and they said, sorry, they made a video, they showed me on the phone, dekho humne kitna badhiya khincha hai ji. And honestly, when I looked at my own, high-tech camera, it didn't look as good. And it's true. And that's just how it is. Now, obviously, later on, when we bring that video back into the studio, and once we color correct it, it's going to look nice.
Yeah.
But no doubt, on a phone screen, on a phone screen, a phone video looks any day better than
serious competition.
Huh? Yeah.
You've been doing this for a long time, and shuru mein when you had started out, you must have had your references and people connecting you to people and so on, right? And weddings are a place where if there is anything good, जो prospective bride और groom के parents होते हैं, they also keep checking, अच्छा ये खाना आपने किससे करवाया है, अपना caterer का number दे दो, etc. Right? So in your style of wedding photography, do you think marketing helps to get business, or is it more of reference?
Okay, very good question. See, marketing always helps. Okay, now I think my perspective, having been a marketer, is very different from photographers who have sort of grown into photography organically. Okay, I never really worked in any other field. Now, you and I, we used to be in a big marketing role. Okay, we were sitting in one of the big Fortune 500 companies doing $1 million campaigns.
We not name the company.
We won't name the company. We don't want to get into that. But we've done that. So honestly, because of my background in advertising and my background in marketing, I mean, that is very much a part of me. Even today, if you scratch me under the surface, I am still that guy. Okay, I'm still that guy from advertising. So it's just that I run a different role now, but that is still deeply ingrained in me because that is how I started my career. Now, marketing definitely always helps because marketing leads to referrals. It's as simple as that. Now, marketing is obviously a very large word. In the luxury wedding industry, honestly, there's not much marketing that you can do. But positioning your brand where you want to be and positioning your brand where your customers are is probably the most important thing. So yes, for sure, marketing is important. I think without marketing, there's not much that you can do. Without marketing, there's not anywhere you can go. And referral businesses definitely come. Referral is a part of the business, but without good marketing, I don't think referrals really work.
Right. Great. So now, Arjun, I also know that, another area that you are extensively working on, which is not seen on your social media, etc., is the whole product photography that you do. And you work with some of the best brands I know. And you've been doing that for a long time. And I know you are also a ad face. You were featured in the Fuji ad.
Yes.
I want to know about that.
Okay.
But before we go there, so product photography, I'm sure you would agree that whole space has had a paradigm shift after AI, right? Today, chat GPTs of the world, I have gone ahead and created pictures which I want to fit in somewhere. So many posts, etc., that I see on the social media, I know it's AI generated, right? Products kept and the backgrounds are AI generated. So in just pure, I mean, I know weddings are human touch. It's human, so you have to be there, right? But product photography per se, how has that market been impacted by AI? First of all, has it been impacted? One. And if yes, how much and how?
See, the impact is real. Okay, now AI is that one transformative tech, okay, that is currently, we are right now right at that edge of transformation. Okay, this is all very new. This kind of disruption, this kind of disruptor in the overall photography industry, honestly, last came when film turned to digital. Okay, now in my mind, I cannot think of any other shift in technology that resulted in disruption other than that. In fact, if I would say AI is probably 5 times that of what film went into digital. Now, AI is very real. Okay, now the even honestly, I track AI a lot, but I'm far from an expert. but the kind of outputs that a well-crafted prompt can give you, even today, okay, even having done it now for a couple of months, still staggers me. I'm like, wow, man, that's awesome. Okay, and it's true. It's very, very true. So honestly, if I were to put myself in the shoes of a customer, if I'm paying money, if I can do this for bloody $12 a month,
right?
Why would I pay, $5,000 or more to someone to do it? So it's very real. So the point here is that I think right now the dust is in the air. We need to wait for the dust to settle. Okay, because there will come a point, okay, in my mind, when people want authenticity.
Right.
There is going to come a point very soon when the average customer, okay, and when I say the average customer, I mean the end recipient of creatives.
The creatives.
Okay, the buyer.
Okay,
will want realism, they will want authenticity, they will be put off by AI generated images. So I think the future is a mishmash, it's an amalgamation of using AI tech coupled with human creativity and human ingenuity, if you will, to be able to create images that resonate with people. Because at the end of the day, the game is to be able to resonate with people.
Right. Absolutely.
And I feel that AI being, it's great, it's pretty, it's beautiful.
It's fast.
It's fast. But will it resonate? Maybe, maybe not. But the idea is to try and wait for that to happen. See how, as creatives, we can utilize the power of that AI to be able to create images that resonate. It's as simple as that.
But corporate पैसे कम करवाते हैं?
Not yet. See, not yet, honestly, because it's not this or that, right? So, for example, if someone were to come to me, they still see, let's say this Bisleri bottle. Okay, now AI cannot generate this bottle. It can generate a beautiful beach behind the bottle. It can generate mountains behind the bottle, but it cannot generate this bottle. Okay, now this bottle still needs to be shot. Okay, now whether you shoot it with an iPhone or whether you shoot it with a DSLR, it doesn't matter, but that bottle still needs to be shot. So I think nowadays when clients come to us, they still want realism in their products. Okay, for example, I was talking to this client yesterday where we were talking about packaging, and he actually said these words to me because the current packaging has it's a dessert brand, okay, and the dessert on the packaging, it looks too fake. He said, "Ye zyada perfect lag raha hai. Okay, ye bikega nahi." Okay, and the reason he came to me is he wanted to add that human element into it. He's like, "I want to make it mouth-watering. I want to make it appealing." Okay, but it looks flat because it's AI generated. So it's exactly that.
Right. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I've seen you sitting next to me na udhar pe. Ab suddenly one day during I think World Cup or sometime I turn on the TV and I see you on television. अब पहले तो 2 मिनट मुझे लगे कि मेरा तो कोई सेलिब्रिटी दोस्त ही नहीं है और कोई मेरा दोस्त ऐसा है भी नहीं जो सेलिब्रिटी बन सकता है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. So then I thought कि ये लग तो अर्जुन जैसा रहा है, पर अर्जुन होगा कि नहीं होगा. Then of course the other day I was going through your Instagram and your team actually did a very nice reel where they moved the camera on the television when you were shown and then they turned it to you and then you were kind of doing that. तो मुझे लग रहा है यार ये तो ठीक है, अर्जुन ही लग रहा है मुझे. So how did that happen?
Oh man, look, that's embarrassing. Okay, I'm the guy behind the camera. I'm not the guy in front of the camera. Honestly, I look like a mango anytime someone. I mean, I spend countless hours behind the camera, but the moment I go in front, I look like a mango. Okay, I seriously look like a mango. It makes me.
नहीं लग रहा था.
Well, makeup and let's say smart editing. But so that was honestly, it was a fun opportunity. So I because I've been in this space for a long time. I'm an ambassador for the brand Fujifilm. So I think they wanted to show that their cameras are great for wedding photography, and I think they had purchased some airtime in the IPL. So I think I had made an ad for them some months back, and I think they decided to use that content. It came to me as a surprise. I had no idea it was about to happen. Okay, even the brand surprised me. They said, "You know what? This is a surprise for you." Suddenly, I'm getting like my phone goes ding, ting, 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 and I had no idea. So saw your Twitter's going mad, Instagram is going mad. I'm getting DMs, bro. Saw you on TV. Good job, bhai. Tu TV pe kya kar raha hai? And I'm like, damn, ye ho kya raha hai? Okay, and I had no idea it was about to happen. So obviously, I'm opening. I'm lost. I'm completely lost. And then I think obviously cricket fans सब जगह है. मेरी team देख side में छोटे window में लगा के they were looking at the match. So they अरे sir आप TV पे हो? लगा अरे ये कैसे हुआ?
But it's very good. I mean, I was myself in two minds. Is it you or is it somebody like
I
you?
was in two
But it
minds
was-
too. I was like, "ये लग तो मैं रहा हूँ, पता नहीं कौन है." But that was fun. It was nice. It was humbling.
Nice.
It was my 5 seconds of fame.
नहीं,
but it was
many
fun.
more to come. But good यार, अच्छा है, मैं बता सकता हूँ. One of my friend is a model / ambassador and whatnot. So, great. Achha, now coming to the next part of it. So there are a lot of people, Arjun, who aspire to get into advertising and product photography, luxury wedding photography. मैंने अभी सीखा है तेरे से सुन के. So luxury wedding photography, and they must be at the starting point, or maybe at the mid level where they're trying to kind of make the next leap. Basis your experience and whatever you've seen, what would you like to advise them?
Don't. Okay, don't get into this industry. It is
Killing competition,
oversaturated.
huh? Killing competition.
It's oversaturated. There are way too many people. But having said that, okay, obviously my first reaction would be to tell people, "Bhai, छोड़ दो, बहुत लोग हैं, कुछ और कर लो, find something new." Okay, unless you have a compelling reason to do so, which is where the serious answer comes in. There are people who I look at so many youngsters nowadays who are organically so creative. Okay, they are. There are some people who are born to be artists. Okay, they have talents much better than me. Okay, maybe 100 times better than me, and they don't have the platform or the knowledge to be able to market themselves to sell that. And obviously, to those people, I always say that, look, create a niche. This is the same for any industry you were to go in. Okay, let's say suppose you want to start an e-com startup, or you want to create some sort of service business. It's the same thing. Your product should be unique. Now, even in wedding photography, because it is such a cluttered market, there are today, if you just go on Instagram and search wedding photographer, you'll find thousands of profiles popping up around you. So you need to stand out. It's as simple as that. So if you are able to create a niche within the industry, if you're able to create images that are so different, if you're able to create films that are so different, that organically create the impression that this is someone we should hire. And this is someone who we should work with. Then and only then you should come into the industry. So it's a great industry to be in, but like I said, a lot of people join it for the wrong reasons. People think it's great money. People think it's easy
Glamour,
money. It's glamorous. Okay, the answer is it's not. Okay, it's not. Yes, there is money, but only at the top 1 percentile. Okay, that is where the money is. At the bottom percentiles, it's regular. Regular income, maybe a little more, maybe a little less from other forms of photography, but it is regular income. Is it glamorous? Yes, at the 1 percentile. Okay, if you are expecting to see a Shah Rukh Khan dancing in front of you, or a celebrity dancing in front of you, yes, it does happen. It's happened to me a bunch of times, but again, it's only that 5 weddings out of 5 million weddings where it happens. So it's important for people to remember that, because the reality, it's a typical reality versus myth story, right? Because what you see on Instagram is all rose tinted. It's all great. People look at me, they think I have a great lifestyle. Honestly, Ratish, okay, all I do is sit behind a desk. Okay, what I did 20 years ago is what I do today. I sit behind a desk, I hold meetings, I look at reviews, I do performance reports, I do appraisals, I do accounting, I do taxes. That's what I do, okay? Sometimes I go out into the field, I take pictures, I come back. But the majority of my life is regular workday normalcy. Regular workday normalcy. That's all I do. Okay, I do accounting, I do all the boring stuff, I have meetings, I review things, I supervise things, and that's normal. And that is the reality of any industry. And that's what I tell everyone, that listen, be sure that this is what you want to do. Okay, I first discourage, I always discourage, because look, it is important. I mean, it's not correct for me to say, hey, you know what, it's great, boys, do it, let's come into it. I mean, that's wrong, right? So first I discourage, I say, are you sure? Okay, and if you're sure, why are you sure? Tell me why you're sure. Okay, and if the answer is compelling, then I say, okay, you know what, you sound like you thought this through. This is what you should do.
He's discouraging competition.
No, absolutely not. And absolutely not.
So, great, Arjun. I think fabulous conversation. Now you know the name of the podcast is Marketing Masala Market. So it has to have a little bit of masala, while there has been a lot of stuff that you've shared. But I'm going to break a million hearts when I say this right now. But you're about to get married,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And congratulations on that. But now tell me, so here is your masaladar question, right? All the weddings that you have done, all the themes that you've put together, how much pressure is it on you for your wedding from your better half about the theme, about the planning, about the photography, about the scenic location, and all the other ancillary,
So the answer is actually zero. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, she's also in the same industry. She does exactly what I do. So we are both wedding photographers. So honestly, we are the opposite. Okay, we do not actually want any photography at our wedding. Okay, imagine this. Okay, because the pressure is so much. Okay, because everyone expects the bar to be really high when creatives get married. Okay, now obviously this happens very rarely in the industry, but when creative marries creative, okay, the expectation is a stellar, crazy, mad wedding film. So honestly, the pressure is too much. I just want to focus on what we are doing. And believe it or not, I do not want anything. Okay, I do not want anything. I'm going to say this again. I don't want anything. She doesn't want anything. But of course, what we want and what will happen are two different things. But the pressure is a lot, and there's a lot of masala that we want to create, because the problem is we go into work mode. So the moment we see something is happening, acha, is action ko aise dete. Okay, baby, listen, let's not stand like this. Let's stand like this. Okay, obviously we're going to give all those actions, and all those candid actions and all that. Listen, I want to focus on what I'm doing. So probably not, but we'll see.
I'm sure it will be great. It will be magic. And all the very best to the both of you.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you so much for taking out time and coming. Pleasure is always, man. Nice
happy to be here, and wishing Ratish and Masala marketing Masala.
See, he's given a lot of masala already, killed a lot of competition and broken a lot of hearts while giving a lot of wisdom. So Arjun, thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah. See you soon again, man. Thanks. Bye. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I hope it also gave you some insights into the world of wedding photography. Please do like, follow, share, and subscribe. And I will see you again very soon. Thank you.